Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Monday morning at Baitul Azkar in Wasiabad, Allahabad, UP, India. Monday, the 28th of Zulhijjah 1444, corresponding with the English date 17th of July 2023. Hazrat Wala starts off this Majlis by quoting the ayat of the Quran Majid, إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابثين فيها أحقابا. So here Hazrat Wala is saying that in the Quran Majid also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about these great fundamentals, Tawheed, Risalat and Qiyamah, the oneness of Allah, the finality of the prophethood of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, him being the last and the final prophet, Risalat, and Qiyamah, the day of Qiyamah, the day of resurrection. Rather, regarding Qiyamah, so much has been said in the Quran Majid about Qiyamah on its own, and over and above that, a surah has been revealed, specifically Suratul Qiyamah. Maulana Sayyid Amin Nasirabadi, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to speak about him that after the Jummah Salat, he would carry out waz, his majlis, spiritual discourse, and mau'izat bil Quran. He would take Quran and then speak from Quran. From that time right to the time of Asr Salat, and people would be deeply affected. You know, these ayat here that we just quoted, إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابثين فيها أحقابا. Hazrat Wala is saying that I was present there that day, that morning, in the Fajr Salat when the Imam read these ayat of the Quran Majid. I can't tell you of that screeching sound that emanated from Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib, as much as this, that you would actually think at that time you were in the masjid, that the whole roof was now about to collapse and fall down. I mean, such a kayf and hal and spiritual state overtook him that he let loose of the screeching sound. I mean, this was the ahwal. They had the haqa'iq, the reality of this in front of them. The yaqeen of the Quran Majid was in front of them. They understood what they were hearing, etc. And hal, spiritual state with it, etc. Now, this is the day of Qiyamah and the description of what is going to happen there. Inna yawm al-fasli kana miqata. Verily, the time of the day of Qiyamah has been fixed. It has already been determined. There's no way that it's going to come earlier or it's going to be delayed. يَوْمَ يُنْفَخُ فِي السُّورِ فَتَأْتُونَ أَفْوَاجًا. It will be the day when the trumpet will be blown and you will come. It will be the day when the trumpet will be blown. And what will happen when the trumpet is blown? Everything will go upside down. Daram baram, ulat palat. From top to bottom, left to right, everything will be destroyed. فَتَأْتُونَ أَفْوَاجًا. At that time there, you will come to the plains of resurrection, the plane of reckoning, afwaja, in large groups, grouped according to beliefs and according to actions. So you could stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for peshi to answer for your deeds. And the court of justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will then be established. وَفُتِحَتِ السَّمَاءُ فَكَانَتْ أَبْوَابًا. The sky will be opened and will become like many doors for the angels to make their entry. So the skies will be open and it will become like many doors. Like a round dome which will then be destroyed, and then there will be like avenues or doors for then people then to enter through. وَسُيِّرَتِ الْجِبَالُ فَكَانَتْ سَرَابًا. The mountains will be made to fly, meaning about like flakes of wool. وَسُيِّرَتِ الْجِبَالُ. The mountains will be made to fly, فَكَانَتْ سَرَابًا, and will be reduced to dust. Now what mountains are we talking about? These very great mountains that we see, that they are the pegs on earth, and it is keeping this entire earth stable. When these mountains will be made to fly about like flakes of wool, and finally it will be reduced to dust. So at that time will there be any earth left? If the pegs that are holding this earth down, what will happen to it will be turned into dust. What will then happen to the earth? What will then happen to the skies? Will there be any wujud and any existence of it? No, nay, not at all. Everything would be destroyed. And this is how the alim akhirat, the next world, the year after, will then come into being. It will unfold and come in front of everyone. I mean, the year after is already created, the akhirat, but this dunya will be destroyed, and then the introduction of the akhirat now will come forward. At that time, when the mujrimeen, the criminals and the disobedient ones will come in front. We're speaking all about this, about Qiyamah. Here when we had that severe tremor, that zalzala, the earthquake, and how everybody ran out. People didn't worry about scarf or parda or this or that. Everybody ran, fearing their lives. Those that were in the high courts, etc. at that time, the one who was seeking justice, the innocent one, and the criminal who was there also, who was going to be reckoned in front of the judge in the high court, all of them ran out into the courtyards, fearing that that building was now about to collapse. If this was just here in this dunya, like some type of small miniature example of, no, not even an example, maybe just some type of something that will able to tell us something, not the reality, something of what the akhirat is going to be. Hazrat Maulana Abdul Majid Daryabadi, when he came to Hazrat Thanvi, he said to him, Hazrat, kya baat hai? How is it the Quran is filled with so much of mention of Jannah and Jahannam, then to Maulvi log usko bayan nahi karte? Like the Maulvis don't speak about this. Hazrat Thanvi acknowledged that statement of his, and he affirmed it, confirmed it. He says, yes, what you're saying is exactly correct. And al-jannatu wan-nar makhluqatan. Jannah is created, Jahannam is created. By Jahannam, fear should engulf, encompass and overwhelm the heart of a person. By Jannah, such type of an enthusiasm should overtake a person. Now we go, people go and see these mountains. Is it just for tafree? Is it just like that, like a person is going to go for a picnic or something? Or is lesson going to be taken from there? Should we not think, looking at these mountains, that they are going to be turned into dust? Sayyidina Nizamuddin Awliya used to say, Imroz khushast, farda khushnest. Today we eating, we drinking, we carrying on, but tomorrow perhaps, most probably, will not be all that good. Meaning, looking at the fear that overwhelmed him when he would think about Qiyamah. إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ فِي ظِلَالٍ وَعُيُونٍ وَفَوَاكِهَ مِمَّا يَشْتَهُونَ كُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا هَنِيئًا بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ ويل يومئذ للمكذبين كلوا وتمتعوا قليلا إنكم مجرمون ويل يومئذ للمكذبين وإذا قيل لهم اركعوا لا يركعون ويل يومئذ للمكذبين فبأي حديث بعده يؤمنون. You know, when he used to sit down, Musallam, across the board, accepted saint and wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Hazrat Sayyidina Nizamuddin Awliya, when he would sit down to eat, he would reckon himself, he would recite these verses to himself. Kulu wa tamatta'u qalilan. Eat, drink, just a bit, just a bit. Innakum mujrimun, for you are a criminal, you are a sinful person, and that would reduce him to tears and he would start weeping profusely. You know, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, after Maghrib Salat, I remember this bayan of his, Hazrat Wala is saying in Gorakhpur, when he spoke about this topic and people were affected so deeply, he spoke about these ayat and Nizamuddin Awliya's hal and about this ayat, Kulu wa tamatta'u qalilan innakum mujrimun. Imroz khushast. Today you eating, you drinking, you merrymaking, but farda khushnest. Tomorrow will not be all that good. أَلَمْ يَأْنِنِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Has the time not come for the believing people that their hearts fear Allah? That their hearts bow down in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab's Waz was like this. Today I have opened Quran and I am giving Waz bil Quran. He would say, Quran se barkar koi wise nahi. There is no greater admonisher than the Quran itself. You know, we're speaking about Qiyamah, we're speaking about Zalzala, we're speaking about how these mountains are going to fly around like cotton flakes. Bhuta Sahab, referring to Maulana Ismail Bhuta of the UK, Hazrat Wala is saying, he speaking about some many years ago when, no, not this one recently, the one before that, when that earthquake took place, and he said that he went there and he met people, and this person is saying that before 12, this was all that I owned. Meaning his marketplace, his bazaar, the complex, whatever it is, the riches, etc. And today, now after 12, this is what I own, meaning nothing at all. You know, when that ice cream was forwarded and put in front of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, his grandson, Nawasa, Mateen, was there. He took a spoon, he may have just eaten just a little and he passed it on. He said, you eat. You eat, because if I eat, I will eat and commit sin. I can't tell you about his great abstinence and dislike, abhorrence for sin, ma'asiyat, and for evil. What can I tell you about his dislike of badnazri and the casting of evil gazes? So much that if we had to go into the bazaar or into the marketplace just to go and fix the kurta and hem it, he would become restless. He would pace up and down. He would not have his lunch. On one occasion in the afternoon we went and he expected us to be back before sunset. Nevertheless, it got late. We read our salat in the bazaar, in the marketplace, and then returned. When we came, he scolded us. Rather than he focused his attention to me and then said to me, "Tum kaise reh gaye? How is it that you stayed so long in the marketplace?" You know, when he started teaching us, he taught us from the Quran Majid, the ayat of nifaq. and hypocrisy, so much, in such a way, in such tartib, and in such order, that meaning his idea was that when that was removed, this nifaq and hypocrisy which lurks in the heart of man, when that is removed, then on its own, ikhlas, sidq, lillahiyat will then flow and gush forth into the heart of a person. Now, make dua that all of this comes to fruition for me. Maybe many kitabs were not completed, but the style and the andaz in which Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to teach was absolutely amazing. So today you're eating, you merrymaking, you drinking, but we'll have to see tomorrow what happens. You know, sometimes people used to come to Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib. I mean, his level was that of very high level. And they would say, but Hazrat, बहुत सी बातें समझ में नहीं आती है. So many of your things, we don't really fully understand it. Immediately, Hazir Jawab, spontaneously he would answer. He said, yes, there are many things also of what you people say, I don't even understand it. And what can I tell you? Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib, when I say did not understand or want to even understand anything about the English. So much so that if I had to tell you 1, 2, 3, he did not even understand that. I went to government school, Hazrat Wala Singh Sarskari school mein parha. I understood that, and I remember it till today, because we were little children at that time there, that maybe the teacher or the sports master would be saying 1, 2, 3. And then the children would shoot off and run in their race. Bacche fir uske baad daurte the. Now what Hazrat Wala is saying, that Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib itna bhi nahi jante the, did not even know that amount. Yes, Hazrat Maulana Mohammad Ahmad Sahib knew much more when it came to that about the English, etc. Inna jahannama kanat mirsada. So Jahannam, indeed Jahannam is a place of ambush where the angels of punishment are lying in wait to punish. لِلطَّاغِينَ مَآبًا, an abode for the rebellious, for the proud and the haughty ones. لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا, they will remain there for an extremely long period without their punishment. لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا. In Jahannam they will taste neither any coolness nor any drink, cold drink. إلا حميما وغساقا جزاء وفاقا, except boiling water and غساق, flowing pus from the wounds of those in Jahannam, jaza aw wifaqa, as a befitting punishment for their kufr, for their sins, for their disobedience. They lived those lives of evil, wickedness, etc. So now this is what they would be given there. إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا لَا يَرْجُونَ حِسَابًا. Indeed, they never look forward to reckoning. They never look forward to hisab, kitab. They did not even accept that. They didn't even want to know about Qiyamat or the day of recompense. They understood it to be something very fake, something which is something like fairy tales. And when they had all of this, their strength of making amal was put aside and they chose the path of deviation. وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا كِذَّابًا, and adamantly rejected our ayat. وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ كِتَابًا, we have meticulously recorded everything in the book, their book of deeds. Therefore, they cannot refute anything and will be punished for every sin. They will be punished for every sin. فَذُوقُوا فَلَن نَزِيدَكُمْ إِلَّا عَذَابًا. They will be told, now taste, meaning the punishment. Taste the punishment. Do not plead for respite. فَلَن نَزِيدَكُمْ إِلَّا عَذَابًا. We shall increase you only in punishment. We shall increase for you only in punishment. So don't taste now. Taste. Now taste. We shall increase you only in punishment. So in this way, their grief, their sorrow, their pain will only increase. You didn't want to accept the ahkam of Allah. You didn't want to take the nasihat. And you chose wickedness and wretchedness for yourself. You were rebellious. So now today, the day of Qiyamah, accordingly, point for point, for everything, you will now be recompensed, meaning punishment will be meted out to you. Thereafter, Hazrat Wala is speaking about Abu Barza radiyallahu ta'ala an. He says that I asked, سألت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن أشد آية في القرآن. I asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam regarding the hardest, the most severe ayat of the Quran Majid. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied by saying, فَذُوقُوا فَلَن نَزِيدَكُمْ إِلَّا عَذَابًا. Now taste, we shall increase you only in punishment. Taste, we shall increase you only in punishment. You know, Hazrat, waqt ki qadar nahi. There's no qadar. There's no appreciation for time. Hazrat Maulana Mohammad Ahmad Saheb used to speak about a buzruk, that he would just eat this little piece of roti. And what was his impression there? So that I would have extra time and more time to carry out in the dhikr and in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Quoting this incident, simultaneously he would go on to say that, listen, but this is not for everyone. So imroz, khushast, today you merrymaking, today you happy, farda khushnest, but tomorrow may just not be all that good. There was a buzruk and he came across this person reciting the Quran. He addressed him and said, هذه التلاوة فأين البكاء. Listen, this is some recitation. MashaAllah, wonderful. But tell me, where's the hal and the spiritual state that's supposed to be coupled with this type of recitation of the grand word and kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? فَأَيْنَ الْبُكَاء. Where's the crying that should come with the Quran? So the ashaddu ayah, the severest and the hardest ayat upon us in the Quran Majid is فَذُوقُوا فَلَن نَزِيدَكُمْ إِلَّا عَذَابًا. And what about the arja ayat? What is the ayat that holds the greatest hope? The general masses and common people would say, قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ. That do not become despondent of the mercy of Allah. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا. Allah Ta'ala will forgive all sins. And then, what did the Ahl Bayt, one of the individuals from the Ahl Bayt, when he was asked, what is the arja ayat of the Quran Majid? He replied, وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى. Addressing Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Allah Ta'ala said, soon we will grant you so much, فَتَرْضَى, that you will become pleased. We will bestow you, we will bless you, we will endow you so much that you would become pleased, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will not become pleased until such a time when every single one of his ummati exits fire hell and is granted admission into Jannah. Now tell me, or rather Hazrat Wala is saying that Allah Ta'ala in ayat se muttaiz hone ki tawfiq de. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of taking admonition from these ayat of the Quran Majid. And Shah Wasiullah used to say, Quran se barkar, can there be any greater wa'iz and admonition more than the Quran Majid? Imroz khushast. Today you're okay, but tomorrow you may not be okay. Quran. So this is the Quran. Wa'az bil Quran. This majlis. And the tashrih. I mean, we should have iman in this Quran. What is Allah Ta'ala telling us about the day of Qiyamah? And the tashrih is which Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made of the Quran Majid. Should we not have iman in that? And should we not take athar and effect from the Quran? Allah give us that tawfiq. And Allah make it such that we are blessed with admission into Jannah, paradise. And we are saved and from the fire of Jahannam. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of carrying out the a'mal which would lead us to Jannah. And Allah Ta'ala save us, protect us from those deeds which will take us to Jahannam. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.